I just wanted to show off my green hair. And I thought, since I've kind of slowed down on the journal making videos, maybe I would do some binding. So I have all my stuff here. Just looking for my all. So I made all of my piles of ephemera, like all the little inserts that I'm going to put into all of the pockets. So I have a bunch of those just sitting around. Like I'm in various stages of makes. Because here I have one that's bound, and then I just have the pile of stuff that I need to do the inserts in. And then this one that needs to be bound. Well, all the signatures are still loose, so I'm still working on different ones. Here's my all. And then I had a template too. Here it is. On my template that fits this. I'm just gonna be doing that. See if anyone comes on wants to chat. I don't have anything much to talk about, but I have been doing Vlogtober on the other channel, which is Sea Monster YK. Let me see if I can put that on. Yeah, so I think if you follow that link, you will see a list of the Vlogtobers that I have so far. So we have 8 Vlogtobers. It's me and my husband talking about just like whatever's going on. Mostly to get us acquainted with doing YouTube, like figuring out how to edit a little bit faster and how like getting used to like the machinations of editing, of uploading and filming, and like getting all the lighting and everything ready, getting um, and getting just like all the videos and the audio and everything set up that way. So we're getting used to that because we want to do more on YouTube. I haven't been doing that much on this channel since October started. I'm binding a book, so I'm poking holes into the. I'm showing you a finished product. So I made these, like I bound the signatures in. So this tool is called an awl. It has a pointy end, and then it gets basically bigger and bigger until you get up to the top. So you have you can choose like how big of a hole you make. So I'm poking the holes into here. So that I can bind the signatures in. So first I'm just marking it based on my template, and now I'm going to make the holes bigger. So based on how far down you push it, like that, then you can determine how big the hole you want to make. So I usually just push it all the way through. And then when you get all of your holes punched, then you'll be able to put your signatures into the book. So this cover is actually the same. Like this fabric here is actually the same as this fabric, but I dyed it blue. And it just completely covered like all of the little cute little, it's so hard to see all the cute little designs on there. But I for some reason I thought it wouldn't turn quite so dark so fast. So yeah, I dyed my hair green. I love dyeing my hair green. I think it looks good with the black. What do you think? So I used a mix of punky color apple and punky color um, bright yellow. So it's mostly like it's like it's like 1 part green and like 5 parts yellow because I didn't want it to be too dark and that punky color apple is really dark. But I think the reason it's so dark is that it will fade and as it fades, the kind of blonde bleached hair will poke through. But yeah, I really wanted like a bright green Halloweeny type of look. Yeah, so this part of the bookbinding process can go kind of slow. That's helpful to have like a accountability to actually make it happen. I do a lot of it while watching TV also, but sometimes it's nice just to try to concentrate on it, especially when you have the sharp tool like this. You want to make sure you don't poke yourself. Has anyone here seen any of my other videos about making journals? I should I should have thought of more to talk about. So yeah, that with my husband, I've been doing some vlogtovers, and we have something called art procrastination, and So we're trying to start like a video series called Art Procrastination, where um, we talk about procrastination, but we also talk about what projects, like what specific projects we've been procrastinating, and we try to get some of those done. All right, so all of my holes are poked there, and just so you can see, I have the cover sewn on. Let me put this sharp tool away. So my cover is sewn on. I have the book corners. I have some lace closures. So this is a cover of a journal. This is the inside cover. This is the spine. So you won't really see this except for in between and the back inside cover. So now I'm going to get my signatures, which I made before, that have just a bunch of different pages. So here's just some pages that I have put together that I made. So I'm going to bind these into this cover. So let me get some string. So this is the string. This is a waxed thread. I think it's a linen thread, but I don't like, I think it's a flax, but don't quote me. I'm not really 100% sure. So you want your strings to be about 2.5 to 3 times the height of your journal, or technically the height of your binding. And I'm putting in 5 signatures, so I'm going to get 5 strings. And then even though I'm done with all the holes in this one, we're still not done poking holes, because we have to poke corresponding holes in all of the signatures too. So that's what we're going to do next after I get my strings ready. So I started writing a journal when I was like 12 or something. I was pretty consistent with it too, all throughout high school and a little bit into college. Then I wasn't very good at it, good at keeping a journal, um, like when I was in optometry school. But then after that, I started to get back into it, and then I started, um, like I had followed Elle Fowler, or she was called All That Glitters 21 back in the day, and she has like Glam Planner now. And so I was following her journey. So like one Halloween years ago, she broke her back in one of those things where you like jump off. I don't know. It's just like a free fall, and she broke her back, and then like so she wasn't able to really do YouTube that much, and like I think she was pretty sad. So during that time, she started making planner stickers and like planner sticker spreads, and so she made a whole business off of that. So now I'm going to take my awl and I'm going to take my template, and then in the center of the signature I'm going to just line up my template, make sure my holes are the same distance as the holes that I poked in my spine there. I'm going to do that to all 5 of my signatures. Yeah, so she she started doing planner decoration videos, and I really liked watching that. And then she started making her own stickers. So I got some of those, and then I started to take my own journal around. I wrote in some I started writing about writing, like journaling about writing, and that is really interesting to look back on because I didn't really think that I was going to start writing, but I've definitely been writing. I'm getting to the end of like my 5th manuscript now, and I'm getting ready to do more writing, like outlines. I have a lot of outlines in my head that I have to get onto paper and work on a little bit more this fall. That's my plan for writing this fall. Because I usually do NaNoWriMo, but I don't think that I'm going to do NaNoWriMo this time. So then I started doing, I got my, or actually, my husband got me a traveler's notebook on our 1st anniversary, and it was the paper anniversary. So we got that notebook, and I started doing plans that way because the traveler's notebook had like a schedule on it too. It was more planner style, but you could also put in an insert that was like just blank. So that's what I started carrying around then, and around then I found a lot more journal people, like Amanda Rach Lee, and just a lot more people who use travelers journals, travelers notebooks. I can't think of any of their names now. I'm so sorry. But I found a lot of people on YouTube who use travelers notebooks, and they made little special inserts for themselves, so I did that. And then during the pandemic, I started making paper, and after I poke this, I can show an example of some handmade paper that I have. Hi. And I started making paper, and I definitely wanted to start selling that. And I have done it at a couple of craft shows. And I guess I had a lot of energy to be able to make those. Alright, so there are my holes poked into my signatures. It goes all the way through the center of the signature. This is an example of my handmade paper sheet that I have. It has some, I don't know if you can see, but it has some silk threads in there to give it some color, but you can still write over it. So, oh, I don't think I have a needle here. I might have to pause to get my needle, but let me just check to make sure I'm not crazy. Okay, yeah, I think I did leave my needles. So yeah, so I started making paper and like finding people online who made paper, and then somewhere around there, around that time, I started doing junk journals. I found Treasure Books, Natasha. So she made she had a good video about how to make faux handmade paper, and then So I started following her, and then I found Paper Terrace, who is like my main person now, and she like really inspired me to start making junk journals and seeing the beauty and the benefit of having a junk journal, because sometimes when I was just making like regular journals and like bullet journaling and like the bullet journaling that I was doing was kind of getting out of control. Like it wasn't um, just like staying as a bullet journal anymore. I was like cutting pages out and pasting things in, and I didn't know that a junk journal was a thing at that time, but I was essentially making a different kind of junk journal. And I found the benefit of like really decorating a page to inspire you to write in it later. And so that's why I like having things like this. So, like, you have a little bit of space to write around here, and you have a lot of places to put in, um, like, my brain wanted to say memorabilia, but I mean, like, places to put, like, ephemera, like pictures, movie ticket stubs, airplane tickets, and, like, pic, uh, yeah, pictures. I think I already said that. Um, or notes that you get from people, cards you get from people, and then you have the opportunity to take a blank page and write what you think and feel about that. Or you can just like write a log of what happened. You can go more scrapbook. You can go more like diary. You can do a lot of different things, and you can technically still do planning in this. It just might be a little chaotic to do like bullet journal planning in this kind of book. Yeah, so I don't think I have my needles in here. So instead of actually finding that right now, I'm going to move on to the next one. And then maybe I'll take a little pause and grab my needles. All right, I'm actually going to do a pause right now to get my needles. So I'm trying to like think of something to put in front of the camera. I don't know. I'm just gonna point the camera down there, and I'll be right back. All right, people are still here. That's good. So these are my needles, and I also got a different template that I might need. Alright, so I usually use the biggest needle in this pack for the second biggest. And then the wax thread, sometimes it has like a pretty big fray. Where's the camera? Alright, there we go. Sometimes it has a pretty big fray there, even though it's wax. So you might need to snip it again or something. Alright, so now let's find. It really doesn't matter. I always start with the back signature. So this is the last signature that I want to put in. Before you sew anything, make sure if there's anything directional, you're making sure everything is facing the right way. So the outside, it wouldn't really matter which way was up or down, but the inside does have those mushrooms that face a certain way. And then of course, if there's any pockets in the signature, you want to make sure that they're on the bottom. And then I want to put this at the back of the signature like that. So you go through the center hole of the signatures, you go through the center hole of the back column of holes that you made in the spine. Make sure you don't pull it all the way through. So I usually just hold on to it like that. Then you go, make sure you're in the same column. I go to the bottom one. You could go to the top one. It literally ends up being symmetrical, so it doesn't matter. And then go all the way up. It's hard to show and do it at the same time. Let me get this through. Okay. Something shifted, so I'm having some trouble. Okay, there we go. Okay. So you go up through the hole back to the center of the signature. Then you skip the middle hole where you already have a string. You go to the top hole. And then go all the way through the signature and then through the corresponding hole in the spine. And then you pull it through that way. My needle came off of my thread, so I'm just rethreading that. Right, and then this last step is the tricky part, because now I have to get the string through the hole where there's already a string going through. So I just kind of put the needle in there, trying to avoid going through the thread. because that is the thing that causes the problems. So don't, I'm trying not to split my thread. Alright, there it is. Alright, so I have a really good example of what it looks like when you do split your thread. So I did do that, but I can fix it. So my needle went right through my first thread. So just kind of pull through like that and then make sure that this thread doesn't continue to go through that way. Because you are going to end up tying this, but you don't want it to be, so you can't like untie it and tighten it and retie it, which is what would happen if your threads crossed each other like that. Alright, so now what I'm doing is I'm evening out the ends here. So I'm just pulling this way. Like that. So now they're even. And now to keep it nice and tight, I want to make sure that I'm tying this middle string down too. So I just get one string on either side. I know it's hard to see when I chose beige. And then I'm just, you see that? A little bit. I'm just pulling it as tight as I can, making sure there's no loops or anything causing any slack. And then I tied a bow in the middle, and then this is bound in. So this technique is called a 3-hole pamphlet stitch because each signature has 3 holes, and then the signature is, I guess, also called a pamphlet. Now I'm just going to keep going with that. And I should have thought of a topic when I was getting my needles to talk about. Like, so I would say this time last year is when I really made one of my first junk journals. So I made one a little earlier in the year for my friend's baby book. And so that was last year around June. That's when that kid was born. And I hadn't really learned all of the different techniques and like how to do it. So I just kind of did it off the cuff. And that was really fun though, to kind of try it all out. And her family loved it. So I'm really glad that I ended up doing that. I just used like a baby sheet that had Sesame Street characters and letters on it, and so I used that as the cover, and then I put a bunch of like children's book pages in it and little pockets, and yeah, I had fun with that. But then last year at this time, this same friend's birthday is coming back up, so that's why I know that it's now. So I was making a birthday present for a now friend, then a friend of mine's girlfriend, but I didn't know her. I hadn't met her yet, and so my friend told me that she likes birds, and I was like, "Well, yeah, I can make a journal of birds." So, and I was like, that sounds really fun for me because I know I already have a lot of birds. It's easy to find bird books in like free sections of thrift stores and at the library and like places where you can find free or cheap books. It's easy to find books about birds. So I found a bunch of those, and then a lot of times when you get like butterfly sticker packs, you get birds in it too. It's just one of those things. I think also my mom is like donates to some conservatory or something. I don't know. Some like bird thing. And so they send her little stickers too. So I've used those. And then also, October of last year, my husband was doing Inktober. And instead of just like following, like he did follow the prompts for Inktober, but he did every single Inktober that he did was of a bird. And so that was helpful for me too. And so that was like my first junk journal when I like really knew what it was. And I had so much fun making that for her. And now we're friends. And we're going apple picking this weekend. Ow. Yeah, sometimes I do poke myself a little bit, but I've only bled a couple of times from poking myself with a needle or an awl while binding books. Yeah, so I think I'll finish binding this one on this live so you can see the whole process. Split my thread again. I don't know like how to help myself from splitting the thread. I don't know if I need like a smaller needle or a bigger needle or a different thread or what. So this is my favorite tip. So when I was making that journal, for some reason like I really ran out of time on like it was like the day of pickup, the day this girl's birthday, and I was still binding because, I didn't really know how long it would take me. So I was binding and I kept on losing my needle. Like it kept on like going under my sewing machine or it would be like caught in a page or something. So I always put it on the next thread that I'm going to use. So then after that, I had the confidence to continue to make different collections, like plan out different collections. And I started by making just a bunch of the covers. And then I started cutting down pages so that they were the right size to fit those covers. Then I started decorating some things, and then now I'm putting them all together into the full journal collection. In the spring, summertime, I started making, or actually, no. For Christmas last year, I made a Christmas collection for a Christmas craft fair that I'm part of. So I made those. That was a lot of fun. And so those were a little bit smaller. So these are 6x8. Those were about 5x7. And so I really liked making those smaller collections. So then in the spring and summer of this year, I made like 6 different collections. And I have those on my other channel, Sea Monster YK. You can see those if you want to see the flip throughs of those. And I'll try to be more consistent about showing some things on this channel too. So I've noticed there's some people watching. Have you been watching the whole time, or does it like change? And if you are watching, and if you've been watching for a while, why don't you like the video? That'll help me out a lot and help me to see that you're still here. So if you're on a phone, the like should be, I think, on the side. So yeah, so then I made like a mermaid, set, a mermaid collection of notebooks. I made one that was rainbow, or I made like a couple that were rainbow. I made a couple that were Hello Kitty, and what else did I do? Unicorns. I have a couple of unicorn ones. And there's definitely more. I can't think of them. Oh, that's terrible. Oh, I do have a witchy one that's smaller. So it kind of is like the little sister of this collection. And I still have plans to make one that's more like writer's retreat, like cottagey kind of cottage core, kind of like quiet writer's retreat. Um, if you have ever seen Kiki's delivery service, like the artist in the woods, kind of like that. And I want to make one that's just devoted to tea. I want to make like Alice in Wonderland tea party like ones too. I don't know if that's the same idea or if they're different. But sometimes that happens where I'm like, the first collection that I made in this size, in the bigger size, was Galaxy, but it kind of was like a mixture of two ideas, like space themed and moon themed, and like not as much astrology as astronomy. So that went in that direction, but I definitely have a lot of love and papers that I can use that lean more towards the astronomy way. And then like moon goddess idea, like the moon goddess theme, like I have some that I want to make for that. which are just slightly different, but that's the aesthetic that I like. That's my favorite aesthetic. I wonder if I have my stack of washi tape. I don't know where my stack of washi tape is, but I have a stack of washi tape that's just a bunch of moons. And then I have some fairy journals that I want to make. I gotta get working on those. So I have a smaller collection. So this is 16 witchy journals, but I have a smaller collection of 6 that I've made the covers for. Um, fairy garden fairy journals, forest fairy journals. So I definitely need to make those because the Christmas fair is coming up actually. Even though it's only October, I have to think ahead to the Christmas craft fair, which is in the beginning of December. So I really don't have that much time to do those. So that'll help me have more content for this channel. I love those covers. They have little windows in them, so I'm excited to share those. Then I have some smaller forest themed ones that I want to make that are just forest, not fairy. That have like deer and squirrels and little forest animals like that. I don't know what movie it was. I went to a movie and I think it might have been Kiki's Delivery Service. But there's a little short that they played at the beginning, like during the not the credits, the trailers. That was, I think it was called like last day of fall or first day of winter or something like that. And it was a bunch of forest animals, and like I love that. So so maybe I'll do a forest animal collection too. Still working on getting them up on Etsy. So I've only been selling things in person at craft fairs, but I would like to get on Etsy. So if you're watching this and you're like, I really love that journal she's making, then you could be the owner of it. I have a lot of things going on. I have my writing that I need to get to. I have the journals that I'm making now for YouTube, or not for YouTube, but like the videos that I'm making for YouTube, the journals that I'm making for Etsy, potentially, and the journals that I'm making for the craft fair. They're all the same, but I do kind of compartmentalize them a little bit because the Christmas fair um, has a different vibe than Etsy might have. Alright, we're almost done. We're on the last one almost. Alright, 49 minutes, so I'll finish this before an hour. I don't think it takes me an hour to do this when I'm not chatting and like having to think about what to talk about. But an hour to bind a book isn't so bad. I'm still a beginner too, so like I'm hopefully gonna get faster and faster. Alright, I think I want to put a charm on this one. So I'll show myself doing that too. So it still starts the same way. You put the needle into the center, go to the bottom, and go to the top. I need a lot more string. Hold on. There we go. So this signature is just a folder, and it has like this little fold out on top. Like that. So it doesn't actually have more than one page in the signature, which makes it much easier. Much easier to bind. Alright, I'm going to put this one on if this fits. Yeah, so usually my needle doesn't fit through those holes because I use such a big needle. So I just thread the string through and then thread my needle back through. And then just finish up the same way. Alright, so now I'm done with this, with the needle for now. So I like to put it away, keep it safe, keep it from getting lost, and keep my fingers safe because I don't want to accidentally poke myself later. Alright, so now that one's tied in. So here's the spine. So these are all exposed bindings. There are ways to do hidden bindings, but I like how it looks with that. And then I like to put the charm on there. So like you don't have to put it on the front one. You can put like one on each. You can put like smaller beads going all the way down. That's fun. I haven't ever done that, but yeah. Now I'm just putting that little charm there for now. On one I did jingle bells on the Christmas one. Or maybe I did that on the tie. I can't remember. But yeah, so that's a finished bound junk journal. I'll do a quick little flip. And now I can put this stack of ephemera pieces and just put it in there for now. And I will do the inserting of those later. Alright, well that was fun. I hope you liked watching me find those books. If you want a more detailed look at that, you can watch one of my videos that's specifically about binding books. And so that should just be not very many videos back. If you want to see more vlog style videos, go to Sea Monster YK. And I will see you soon. Bye!